Well, good morning. Thank you for working out the kinks on the technical difficulties, Lisa, Katie, whoever's been hard at work with that. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I lost my internet like right as I was trying to go on, so I got it back.
All right. Woohoo. Well, good morning, everyone. How are we doing this morning? It's nice to see all your faces. Glad that you guys are going to be joining us. Looks like our audience is growing, but we'll go ahead as soon as Lisa's ready. And we'll get things kicked off because we have a very special guest that we're super excited about. That's going to be sharing some really great training with us today. So, Lisa, I'll let you take it away with regard to talking about Spark. You're muted.
Just letting people in here as we go, so forgive me if I pause. Yes.
I can watch that, Lisa.
What?
I'll watch that.
Oh, thank you. So we have officially launched Ignite 2.0 as of yesterday. Yesterday was session number 1. The first session is Fuel Your Career, and Erin Duckworth taught that session. We had some great engagement. We've got some great participants. I think total we have 12 agents taking this Ignite, and this is really not only meant for new agents, but meant for existing agents as well, because unless you watch some of the recorded sessions on Connect, this is an Ignite that none of us have ever taken before. So it's not too late to sign up. If you want to get signed up, just let me know, send me an email, give me a call, grab me inside the Market Center here. Just let me know that you want to sign up. So sessions are 2 hours from 9 to 11, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And this is a little bit longer of a session. It is about 6 weeks. And so the last session, I believe, ends on April 5th. So yeah, we're just really excited about this Ignite. We just want to invite everybody and anybody that wants to attend. And we hope that you sign up. And there's, I guess we are being a little bit lenient as far as you attending every session, because we know that a lot of sessions, it's difficult right now with all of us working remotely. We're moving so fast. And so, just know that if you just can at least get something out of this Ignite, we definitely want you to attend, and it's free this time around. So all the materials are online. So
great. Thanks, Lisa. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay, so as far as education in the upcoming week, tomorrow, Megan Moreau is teaching GPS and 411. And for those of you that are not aware about what these are, so GPS stands for goal, priorities, and strategies. And so it's coming up with one goal and several priorities and several strategies. And then 411 stands for 4 weeks, 1 month, 1 year, I believe, if I'm getting that right. Katie will correct me if I'm wrong. But Megan is super plugged into the Keller Williams culture, especially when it comes to teaching anything Keller Williams, anything from the MREA, anything that has to do with command. She's wonderful, and you'll definitely get some good nuggets out of this training. So make sure that you hop on if you are able.
All right, we have a couple of new cappers in the Market Center. So we want to give a shout out to John Buckingham and his team, and Heidi Skogaboro are both cappers, reached that illustrious level, and are enjoying 100% of their commissions right now. So congratulations, John and Heidi.
Okay, so we do have some new agents that are joining us this month. We actually have several more, but we just don't have their announcements ready, and we're waiting on some licenses to come back too. Erin, I'm going to let you speak to these lovely ladies.
All right. So we're super excited to welcome on Rachel Baldwin. She's a new agent, lives in lives in Lakeville, and she's also a flight attendant with Delta. And has her pilot's license. She's just a complete boss babe. So super warm, very friendly. Please be sure to reach out, either via our chat or our closed Facebook group, and welcome her. We're really excited about her joining us. And then we also have Miss Lacey Nelson, who is joining our Fair Bowl contingency. Lacey just finished her first year in real estate and just completely hit it out of the park, and was looking for, what was next as far as a company that was going to help her level up her business. She's extremely creative, and she absolutely loves the idea that she can use those creative skills and abilities here at Keller Williams. So very excited to welcome these two lovely ladies. So please give them a warm welcome when you guys see them.
Alrighty, so we're just making this team meeting short and sweet. We've got some amazing guest speakers that we are going to have jump on here in a little bit. Just wanted to let you guys know that after the guest speaker, Sally Cerna will be taking about 5 minutes to talk about Loan Depot and what she has as far as services. She'll talk a little bit about rates, just give you a quick kind of once over as far as what's going on in the market. And then we are just going to turn it over to Emily Phair and Kevin Hinton of the Phair-Hinton Group. So we do have the opportunity to have this amazing power couple with us, and I am just going to take a couple minutes and introduce them. Alrighty, so Emily Phair and Kevin Hinton of the Phair-Hinton Group have always believed that by joining forces, ensuring their respective experiences, they can make a massive impact on the clients they serve and the agents and staff they hire. Over the years, the PHG has grown into a dynamic group of young, ambitious entrepreneurs committed to supporting the dreams of anyone who is brave and fun enough to come along for the ride. PHG is a growing team of 11 and are consistently ranked in the top 1% of the Chicago and Milwaukee markets. They are eager to share all the tips, tools, and hacks they've learned over the past 4 years and are excited to connect with and learn from as many like-minded individuals as possible. So we're super excited to have this group with us. And at this point, Emily and Kevin, take it away.
Cool, thank you. Hi guys.
Hey everybody.
Hi, we're tuning in here from Chicago. So we're super happy to be here. Actually, we're happy to be together because we've been Zooming for the last year. So you don't often see us in the same room together. So this is exciting. It's cool to be here. It's cool to be with you guys. And you guys we're in Rochester, right?
We are.
Cool. Okay, have you ever been to Rochester?
I have not.
Me neither.
Have not.
Me neither. So it's not that far away. I actually spent a long weekend in northern Minnesota in Duluth, and I love Minnesota. It was amazing. So maybe Rochester will be next on our list.
Yes,
Cool.
Please come and visit us.
Okay, I love it. Cool. Okay, so what I'd like to do, can I share my screen so I can pull up a presentation?
Yeah, you should be able to. So there's two. There's Emily Phair and then Phair-Hinton Group. I made Phair-Hinton Group the host.
Well, Phair-Hinton Group is Molly Mudd, give us away,
Okay.
and Kim Thompson, our admin. But if you can make me the host, then I can share my screen.
Yep, let me just reclaim it and we will change that.
Cool, thanks.
Alrighty, sounds good. Okay, so Emily, you should hopefully have the ability to share now.
Alrighty, cool.
So everybody, we're pretty excited to do this, and we enjoy this. We hope you enjoy it. We've kind of got a little presentation for you, but at the end we want to kind of answer some questions. Anything you've got a little bit kind of about how our team works. The topic of this is lead gen and what we do, but we also will talk a little bit of kind of how our team's set up and really answer any questions that you have. So the more interactive you are, the more fun those will be, and hopefully the more you'll get out of it.
Yeah, so we're just gonna go and get through as much as possible, but shout out anything, you guys. You can turn your microphones off of mute if you want. and we'll make this super interactive. So cool. So the whole idea is that we're going to talk about lead generation, which is really the oldest topic in real estate. We know that, and it spans every market, right? So we're dealing with that in Chicago. We deal with it in Milwaukee. You guys deal with it in the Rochester area. Lead generation is the name of the game. So we're going to try to make it super simple for you, but we also know it's not easy. So we're not promising easy, we're promising simple. So we're gonna break it down into really like actionable steps so that you guys can actually go out today, hang up with this call, and put some of these things into motion right away. That's the whole idea. Okay, so I'm Emily Phair with the Phair-Hinton Real Estate Group of Chicago, Milwaukee. I'm one of the co-founders. This is Kevin Hinton. And so just a quick background of who I am and what I'm all about. I've been in the business in the Chicago and Milwaukee market for about 12 going on 13 years. And I started in Chicago and worked for a variety of different companies and then landed at Keller Williams in 2015, which was right about the time that I met Kevin. And we were working on a team together called MKT Properties, which is one of the biggest teams in Chicago. We were kind of in a traditional model where we were buyers agents on the team, and then there was a team leader and all that stuff. Well, we decided to break off of our team that we were on and start our own team, which is now called the Phair-Hinton Group Chicago, Milwaukee. So that's the quick background. We can give you lots more information. And one day I'll tell you how I met Kevin in New Orleans and threw him in a trunk. That's a true story at family reunion, and that's actually how we met. He was in the back of the car in the trunk. Okay, Kev, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Quick background on me. I have been in real estate basically like about 5 years to the day because my first encounter in real estate was family reunion 5 years ago. I'm from Michigan originally. The bulk of my adult life prior to this is I was a golf pro. So I played golf in Michigan at Michigan, played professionally for a couple of years, and then I taught at a club on the North Shore of Long Island. And I did that till I was about 36 or 37 years old. And then I realized I work every weekend, I work every holiday, and everybody I know actually plays more golf than I do. So I decided that I would get into real estate so I could get more free time.
Totally.
And believe it or not, I have. So I moved back to the Midwest, landed on the team with Emily, and we kind of got rocking and rolling, and here we are. We'll fill you in a little more on our story, but that's my quick little background.
Yeah. And one of the things that we bonded over so many years ago when we first met was that neither of us had these like deep rooted connections to Chicago, in the sense that like we knew that lead generation was going to be our core values. And so we connected on that, we collaborated on it, and that is the root of our business. And that's why this is so exciting for us, because we like truly believe in this. We had to move into a brand new city, huge city, and try to make our way. And the only way we did it was through lead generation. So you guys have our emails, so we'll put these up at the end, but feel free to email us with any questions, and then also connect with us on social. We'll love you guys. All right, cool. So when we thought about going into business together and creating a partnership, we always had this idea that like it would only make sense if 1 + 1 = 3, right? So we didn't want to just be two people who worked together and shared an admin or shared expenses and we just kind of worked alongside one another. We really had this idea that if we collaborated and used my strengths and Kevin's strengths and put them together, that we could create something big. So 1 + 1 = 3 has always been our motto. But oops, 1 + 1 = 11, and we're actually going on 12. So this is Phair-Hinton Chicago, Milwaukee. This is all of our team members. Some of them are on the call today. Molly and Kim are our admin. We love them. And then we've got 7 other agents. So we say this because we are resources to you guys. We're happy to answer questions. We can take any of this offline, but we also have a whole bunch of people who are happy to talk with you, happy to answer questions and give you their perspective, because our entire team lives and breathes lead gen every day, all day. They love talking about it, I promise. So you can reach out to anybody on our team at any time, and we'll be glad to take the conversation deeper. And again, some of them are on the call today, so feel free to ping them if you want. Cool. All right, moving on. So a little bit more about Phair-Hinton Chicago, Milwaukee in terms of like our credentials. So we think we're pretty legit, but hopefully this helps give you guys a sense of who we are in terms of sales and actual production. So we're happy to, once again, no surprise here, be a top producer in Chicago. So we just got named top producer for 2020. We have been for the last many years. We did about 50 million in sales over Chicago, Milwaukee. We did about 175 units working in 2 markets. Again, that's Chicago and Milwaukee. Milwaukee doesn't have the fancy logos and awards like Chicago does. And if they did, we'd have them up there, but they just don't. And we've got 9 agents on our team and 2 admin and growing. We're looking at our 3rd admin, and just in case any of you guys know anybody, we are hiring in Milwaukee. So if you know anybody looking to be an agent on a big team in Milwaukee, hit us up. Anything else you want to say about that?
That's perfect. No, that's
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. All right, so let's reel it back. Let's talk about our first day on the job. Okay. So when I first started in real estate, I literally had never met a realtor before that I knew of anyway. And the only sense of real estate and being a real estate agent was whatever I had learned from HGTV and like 1990s HGTV, like way back in the day. Like I used to watch it when I was in high school. And I thought it was so cool. And then House Hunters became a thing, and that was really cool. And then, you know, like I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to go show houses and sell properties, right? So it was this whole like glamorous idea of what real estate is. I really had no idea what actually it takes to start and sustain a profitable business. What did you think about it, like first day?
Yeah, I didn't know much. I guess what I kind of realized is, you know, it's kind of, I guess I use the analogy sometimes. It's right. You're a dentist and you graduate from dental school, and then you are fully certified, you're a doctor, all that. And then you say, now what? Like, now what do I do? Right.
Yeah.
Because what you realize, and, you know, a physician, whatnot, same thing is you're also a business owner. So that was kind of the same thing. You can be the best dentist in all North America. If you don't know how to drive clients and run a good business, doesn't matter. You're gonna be broke.
Yeah.
So real estate was kind of the same way. You got your license and you say, sweet, now where are the clients? They gave me this nice little card, but they didn't give me any clients that came with it.
Right.
So that was kind of the first, learned that one real fast.
Yeah.
But that's your job. You got 2 jobs, right? One is to obviously get certified, but we know that those tests don't really have that much about building a living.
Right.
So that's a way to learn pretty quick is how do we get clients?
Yeah, for sure. So it's not all stilettos and selling sunset and like, oh, glam, right? There's like actually a very challenging lead generation that you have to do starting on day 1, which nobody tells you until you're in it. Okay, so here's what not to do, right? We're going to talk a lot about what to do. We're going to give you a lot of like actionable steps that you can put into place today. But let's first talk about what not to do, okay? So on the first day on the job, what it's so normal, right? And we did this, and we're still, you know, our new agents are still doing this. We see people in our office doing this all the time, is that your temptation as a newer agent or an agent who's not focused on lead gen, right? So even seasoned agents fall into this trap. You spend so much time working on your business and focusing on the things that don't really build a client database, right? So fancy websites and Instagram posts, and you got to get a headshot. And oh my God, the amount of times I see people spending hours on their logo. I mean, really, like hours and hours, and they have 15 different iterations of the logo, and like which one is the best? It's like, guys, it doesn't matter, right? So we spend a ton of time doing the things that really don't drive business, especially in the beginning, but also just throughout our careers, right? So what we're going to tell you guys is what not to do. And here's a list, and we could exponentially make this list bigger, right? Of what not to do. Okay. So if you guys fall into this trap of making to-do list on to-do list on to-do list and you have no clients, then this presentation is for you.
Yeah, and it's a really natural instinct, right? And we kind of joke about it. Yeah, it is nice to have a nice headshot. It is nice to have a good website. It is good to know the contract, but there's so many new agents, and not just new, like Emily said, that you can know, it sounds flip, but you can know the contract inside and out. But if you're not writing it for anybody, it doesn't matter, right? You're the smartest broke person in all of Illinois real estate. So you don't,
Minnesota in your face.
Yeah, you don't want to let that happen. So the point is like, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to be so willing to talk to your people well before you're fully comfortable. So you have to get out there and you get your first new construction deal. And guess what? You just figure it out and you sell your first investment property, your first piece of land, and you just get out there and talk to your people and you will figure it out. And one of the good things about KW is there are so many people that will help you. So if you wait until you're comfortable or you feel like your knowledge base is to a certain level before you consistently market, to your people, it's gonna be a long time before you have income coming in consistently. And that's what we want to try to help people avoid.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so there's only 3 jobs in real estate. Okay, so again, it's all about making this really simple for you guys. So job number 1, we want you to connect with people. We're going to talk about how to do that, how to do it systematically. Job number 2 is to tell them that you're in real estate, that you're a realtor. And job number 3 is everything that we just talked about on the other slide, right? All this other stuff that muddies the waters and prevents you from moving your business forward. Okay. Now, just to be clear, all of the other stuff is important. And as Kevin said, like, just rely on and have faith in your office, your market center, Lisa, everybody that's around you. They're going to help you go out and write a contract, learn how to do, learn how to set up a website, all the things, right? You have resources around you, okay? So for today's purposes, we're telling you that really, truly, you only have 2 jobs, right? Job 1, connect with people. Job 2, tell them you're a realtor. If you're tempted to do all those other things on your list, cross them off. I'm telling you, take that to-do list and throw it in the garbage. Connect with people, tell them you're a realtor. Cool? All right, moving on. Okay, so this is interesting. In 2020, connecting with people is, it's like so different than it used to be, right? And so gone are the days of like big events and like tons of socializing, and hopefully that'll all come back, and it'll come back slowly but surely, right? So we have to think about connecting with our people in different ways than we ever have before. But what we can't do, and what I think a lot of us are falling into the trap of, and this is why we put this presentation together, is that we cannot use 2020 and early 2021 as an opportunity not to connect. Because that would be so easy, right? It would be so easy to say, well, I can't meet anybody for coffee because pandemic, or I can't go to the office, or I can't do XYZ, right? So we're saying, like, you've got to push yourself to connect with people in lots of different ways that you never thought you might have to do, right? And here's just a bunch of examples, right? Face-to-face, you can text, you can call, you can direct message, you can meet them in person, you can do a showing, you can learn how to use TikTok, you can Facebook message. There's so many different ways that you can connect with your people, but not connecting with them is not an option, because this is entirely a relationship-based business.
Yeah, and I was going to say specific to that, a couple new things that we did this year. So historically, we have done like home buyer seminars. So in Chicago, maybe we have a PhD drinking problem, but in Chicago it's called Cocktails and Condos, and Wisconsin it's called Hops and Homes.
We love our beer in Wisconsin.
And those used to be in person, right? And so we started virtual seminars for both of those, and we were a little bit nervous about that. Who really wanted to jump on that? They've actually been a huge hit. So I don't know if we'll ever go back to in-person buyer seminars and seller seminars and things like that. But that was a new thing for us this year. And then the other thing on the social media front, we've really tried to focus on not just posting and not just hiding behind a brand, but like true engagement.
Right.
Okay, actually engage with people. And we found that people are actually dying to engage, not surprisingly, since we've all been stuck inside to some degree. So not just posting things on social media, but strategically actually interacting with people. So those were the bulk of the new things that we did in 2020.
Yeah, and we can, we're going to save some time at the end for questions, guys, but like we can give you specific examples of this. Like we are happy to go into more detail. We're going to keep moving, but just a reminder, if you have a question, shout out or wait till the end and we'll do a Q&A, okay? All right. Okay, so here's a dollar bill, right? Okay, so I want you guys to think about all of your money in your, we'll think about your savings account, okay? And when we talk about connecting with people, I want you to think about walking up to an ATM machine, okay? So you've got a whole bunch of cash, you walk up to an ATM, I don't know why you'd have cash these days, but let's just pretend that it's way back in the day, you've got a bunch of cash, you go to the ATM and you make your deposits into the ATM. Okay, or into your bank account, okay? That's how I want you to think about your people. So when you go to your bank account and you add money and you add money and you add money, you're building a bank, right? You're building this account, right? And then one day you have so much money in your account that you get to go back to your account and say, yeah, I am going to take a withdrawal and I'm going to go on vacation, or I'm going to take a withdrawal and I'm going to put a down payment on a house. I'm going to withdraw money for those fabulous new shoes that I've been thinking about, right? So you deposit, and then one day you withdraw. Okay, that's basic bank account 101, right? So when you think about connecting with people, it's the same concept. You want to make deposits into your relationships, right? So add value, be a good friend, just deposit, like give them your good energy. And then one day you get to go to your friend or go to your past client or whoever, and you get to withdraw, right? And that might be in the form of like, hey, I need a favor. Would you help me move my couch this weekend? Or it could be, do you know anyone looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, right? So it's make your deposits before you make your withdrawals, okay?
And one of the things that, because we all know that times like lead gen gets, it's as much as you do it, you still feel a little bit weird and things like that. And we don't ask our team, our script is not to call and go through our list and say, hey, would you know something to buy, sell, or invest, right? No. That's not what we do. The bulk of what we do is we try to add value, and we call and we give them something. And when you do that, those calls are so easy.
Yep.
Hey guys, I came across this coupon to service your furnace. Have you guys done that? It's October. You might want to do it before the winter. It's $25 off. Do you want it? That's value. Who's going to say no? You say, hey, do you guys remember that the tax appeal has to happen by April 1st? I wanted to send you the link in case you guys haven't appealed your taxes. That's value, right? You give value, you give value, you give value. And then when you do ask, like Emily said, the bank is now full, right? You've got actually something to withdraw. But to be completely honest, we are a very, very, very high referral business.
Yep.
And we rarely ask for business.
Yep.
We probably should more, but we rarely ask because we just focus on depositing, making those deposits, and it's much easier calls and texts for our team and myself included.
Yep.
So that's just something, as you're working through your sphere list, as you should be, just think of ways you can just make that touch about a value add, and it's so much easier.
Infinitely easier when you are adding value before you're asking for something in return. Okay. All right, you guys. So many of you have heard this before, and if you've studied the Red Book and you've researched the 33 touch, you know what we're going to talk about next, but we cannot drill this home enough. So there's two types of people. And we always laugh about this because you guys are all going to be like, well, maybe there's 3 types of people, or maybe there's 5 types of people, or maybe there's just 1 type of person. No, there are 2 types of people. Group number 1, you guys have seen these faces on the left already. These are our team members at Phair-Hinton, Chicago, Milwaukee. But group number 1 are people that we've met. We call them Mets, right? Okay, so think about all the people that you know and all the people that you've met in your life. Those are one group of people. And then the other group of people are all the people you haven't met. It's super simple. Okay, so when we are looking at running a sustainable long-term business, we want to focus on the people that we've met, and we want to systematically nurture to them. And we're going to talk about how to do that in a second. And then we also want to think about who haven't we met yet, and how can we meet them and get them into the other category, right? Get them into the group of Mets, right? Because when we systematically nurture to our Met database, that's basically how we do sales, right? That's how we get new clients, is because we nurture, and we convert those people to clients, and then they buy or sell. Okay. So let's actually think about this in a little bit a different way. Okay. So when we think about our Mets, we want to systematically nurture to them, which we just like to call forced human interaction. Okay. So we're not doing anything weird or creepy, right? We're just forcing a basic connection, right? So a call, a text, an email, a face-to-face, whatever we're doing, it's just forcing us to actually do the next step of actually connecting with our people. Okay. And so I want you guys to think about a wedding. Okay. So this is something that our team, we talk about this a lot on our team. Okay. The Red Book says, and we actually live and breathe by this, and we truly believe this. But the Red Book says that if you systematically nurture your Met database, you will convert all of your people at a ratio of about 2 to 12. We're going to talk about 2 to 12 versus 1 to 6 in a second. But basically what that means is that if you are consistently talking to your people and connecting with them, you will eventually convert them and you will get sales, right? So all of you guys probably have a bunch of people sitting in your database, or maybe just a spreadsheet or your phone or whatever. And if you actually do these action steps and you stay in touch with them, you're sitting on a gold mine. Most of you guys are sitting on literally hundreds of thousands of dollars if you do the right things. Okay. The challenge is it's really hard to do the right things. It's really simple, but it's really hard. Okay. Now let's think about that. We are so tempted to take our database and go, Yeah, okay, so my friend Jenny, she works in Chicago and she's in the service industry. So, in Chicago, like the service industry really struggling because of COVID. So like, I'm not gonna put her in my database. I take her out, right? That's easy to do, right? We're gonna cherry pick her out. Or like Uncle Bobby lives in Florida and Florida's like really far away. And like Uncle Bobby's never why would Uncle Bobby refer me business? So like, I'm gonna take him out, right? So we're qualifying or disqualifying people based on like their circumstances, not based on what we just talked about, right? Which was there's only two categories, Mets and non-Mets. Okay. So if you guys can like take a step back from your judgments and your qualifying and just put these people in two categories, Mets and non-Mets, you're going to convert at a higher rate, right? And I know you always talk about like predicting.
Yeah, I think the second you try to predict where your leads and where your referrals are going to come from, you end up being wrong every single time, right? We have some great people in our life that love us that never refer us to anyone.
Totally.
And we have gone on for sale by owner appointments that we didn't get that have then referred us multiple people. So when you start to think about who am I going to get referrals from, you're going to be wrong because you'll be surprised all the time, right? So you just don't need to focus on that. You just talk to everybody on a consistent basis. And I like to, my buddy Jeff Oswald, my college roommate, on his quarterly touch, until he does, every single quarter, I send him a picture of a donut. He's like, stop sending me the donut. I'm like, well, that's how many referrals you've ever given me. 0, Jeff, 0. I'm going to send you a donut until you give me a referral. And that's our little joke. And he hasn't sent me a referral and he maybe never will, right? And then you get people that you meet in an open house that they barely know and they're a true advocate of yours and you get multiple referrals. So if you tried to figure out the algorithm of who's going to refer you, you're going to be wrong. So just treat them all the same and then just see what happens.
We treat them the same through systematic communication. Okay. So let's talk about this wedding. Okay. So when you think about your people, you're automatically thinking like, okay, my friend Sally, is she gonna work with me, right? You want to try to convert everybody in your database, right? And I want you guys to think about this in a little bit different way. So imagine that every single person in your database, so maybe you have 100 or 200 people or whatever, all of your Mets, everybody that you know, think about them sitting at the head table in a big old banquet hall. So big old Minnesota wedding, you got 200 people there or whatever. So they're sitting at the head table in a banquet hall of their own wedding. Okay. So you want to think about Sally and everybody Sally knows. Okay. So you're not trying to convert her necessarily. You're trying to get on the dance floor of her wedding and try to work your magic and meet the people in her life that are ready to buy or sell. Okay. So instead of going like on an individual basis, yes, they're going to buy, no, they're not. Yes, they're going to buy, no, right? It's get in their world, get on the dance floor and figure out how you can get either her or her referrals, her friends and family. Okay. So weddings, guys, you get an invite to a wedding, go.
Yeah. And to kind of expand on that, the point is Sally will do the heavy lifting for you.
Yep.
All you have to do is make sure that you've consistently reminded Sally that you're in real estate. And then when people in her world have that need to have a life event, you will be on the top of her mind and she will make the connection for you. So obviously I'm not running around a wedding trying to get 200 pieces of contact information, right? All I'm making sure is I know Sally and Sally will do the heavy lifting for me as long as I consistently remind her that I'm in real estate. And that's where the 2 to 12 comes from in the 6 to 1, that in reality, it's not that, yes, for every 6 people in your database, you will get a deal that you consistently mark to, but you'll also get a referral.
Yep.
So it's much about the people at the wedding as it is actually Sally, who already bought last month and doesn't need our help.
Yep. Cool. Okay. Guys, you've probably heard of the 33 touch, but this is the method that we at Phair-Hinton Chicago, Milwaukee use to do the systematic nurturing of our Met database. Okay. So some of you guys might call it the 36 touch, or you might run it like slightly differently, but here's how we have seen success. And here's what we continue to use at Phair-Hinton Chicago, Milwaukee. So we're going to break this down for you. So 33 touches. So we've got 4 quarterly touches. Okay, 5 stickies and 24 mass emails, which equals 33. Again, if you actually do these action steps and you touch your people 33 times a year, you will, it's proven, you will convert at a ratio of 1 to 6 or 2 to 12. So before we even get into this, if you guys know, I mean, you can just do quick math in your head, but like how many people are in your database? Like, do you have 100 or 200 or 300? Like, think about it real quickly and do the math. If you have 100 people in your database, you've got at least 15 deals. If you've got 15 deals, you've got at least $100,000, right? So if you want to make money, you want to make a lot of money, you can work this formula backward. And in fact, on our team, if you want to be a member of Phair-Hinton Chicago, Milwaukee, you have to come to the table with at least 100 people in your database right on day one, right? Because we know everybody knows 100 people. So it's just a matter of doing it. And if you do it and you do it correctly and you do it systematically, you will make money. It's that simple. That simple. All right, we're going to break it down. Oh, and by the way, I should say before we even break it down, guys, we're gonna go over this quickly because obviously we don't have all the time in the world, but there are so many classes that are taught. I mean, we've got people here in Chicago. Phil Byers is one of our favorite people in Chicago who teaches this class like in depth, right? You can read about it in the Red Book. I'm sure if you Googled it, you can find tons of different resources for like in-depth 33 touch conversations. So we're gonna go over this like surface level. And again, Q&A, save your questions or shout them out. But there's tons of resources, okay? Because this is a lot of information to take in. So let's start with quarterly touches. Okay, Kev, what's a touch? Let's start with the basics. What is a touch?
A touch is I've thought of you in a thoughtful way and you are aware that I did.
Okay.
And that's it.
Well, that was easy.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So you guys, what's today? Today is February 23rd. February 23rd. Okay. So if there's somebody on this call, or maybe one of us who knows somebody who has a birthday today. Okay. So you think, who do you know that's got a birthday today or tomorrow? Actually, my really good friend, her birthday is tomorrow. It is not good enough for me to think happy birthday, right? That's meaningful. That's thoughtful. Good for me. But the only way it counts as a touch is if I call her and say happy birthday. And we're all so good at doing the first half of it, right? Where we're like, I'm so meaningful. I have all these meaningful thoughts in my head. Cool, good for you, but you gotta go the extra step, okay? And that's what a touch is all about. It's like you have to make the effort to reach out to people. And again, it doesn't have to be organic. We actually are encouraging it to be systematic, okay? So here's how we systematically do it, okay? First of all, quarterly touches. The first thing we do is we take our database and we split it up. We just like alphabetize it and then we split it into thirds, okay? Alphabetical thirds. So in January, our responsibility as agents on the team is to touch in lots of different ways, but touch all of those people in the first third of the alphabet. Okay. And then we even break it down a little bit more. So say there's 20 days in the month, 20 working days in the month. We might take those 100 people that we have in that first third and break it down how many per day. It might only be 5 or 6 per day. So if I know I wake up in the morning and I have my list and I know that I only have to touch 5 people today, boy, that's not so bad. That doesn't seem so daunting, right? Because it's really broken down in a simple way. Now, all I have to do is make the effort, right? I have to think of them and then do the meaningful part, reach out to them and add my value, make my deposit, okay? So that's the easiest way to do your quarterly touches, is to break your database down into the alphabet. So again, January, we call it the first third of the alphabet. February, it's the second third of the alphabet. March, it's gonna be the third third of the alphabet. And then in April, you start right back with the beginning of the alphabet, okay? Now, listen, this does not have to be about real estate. Okay, again, we're not going to ever tell you or anybody else that you have to call and say, hey, are you looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? That's not the point. Again, the point is to make your deposit. So Kev, you have a great example about like moving your friend's couch. So I love that analogy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what you want to be is, I mean, we all have that friend that you know, doesn't add a lot of value in your life. And, you know, you hear from him once a while, and then he's the same friend that calls you Saturday morning at 8 o'clock, says, hey man, can you help me move my couch? And I'm like, Ryan, I haven't talked to you in 2 months. Like now you're gonna call me to move your couch? Like, no, like I don't really want to move your couch. But if that is the same person that, you know, does nice things for me, adds value, thinks about me, yeah, guess what? I'm gonna go over there, I'm gonna move his couch. So, you know, you want to be always thinking from a deposit perspective. And the good thing here, to almost kind of back up a little bit to these touches, is 29 of these touches are automated.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah. So you and agents on our team, but you don't have to do that much. You've got 29 of them being automated. You just need to work through your alphabet, and it's literally amazingly simple things. You jump on Facebook and you see that they just, well, in the normal world, they just got back from Ireland. And you say, hey, Beth, I just saw you had an amazing trip. I was just thinking about you guys. Hope you had a great time. Looked awesome. That's it. Just a message, right? Anything super simple that adds value if you can. That's all you have to do. So all you got to do is just work through your list 5 at a time and touch those, because the rest of them can be automated.
Yep. Cool. We're going to talk about automation here because, again, we're all about leverage, systematization, that word, and automation. All right, cool. So stickies. Okay, so I'm actually going to back up a second because I just want to go back to the basic slide, right? So we've got 4 quarterly touches, 5 stickies, and 24 mass emails. And I want to be clear. The reason that we're doing this in this order, we're presenting you the 33 touch in order of what is most important and what your priorities should be, okay? Because a lot of people are going to do mass emails, stickies, quarterly touches in that order. We're saying, okay, if you had to prioritize these, we want you to do quarterly touches first, sticky second, and mass emails, which is the low-hanging fruit, the easiest of all, but we'll talk about it. Okay, so 5 stickies. What's a sticky? What's a sticky?
Sticky is something that sticks around.
Yeah. And on our team, it's like, I mean, one of our core values, I mean, I don't know if you can figure this out maybe, but one of the core values on our team is fun. We think it's really important that we bring the fun into everything we do, because otherwise, why the heck are we doing anything at all? So a sticky can either be one, something that sticks around, which is kind of the main definition, or number 2 is something that's really fun, engaging, light, goofy, something like that. So this is so great. Recently, our most recent sticky that we sent out was a $1 bill that we sent to all of our database, which was super fun. So we actually sent Kevin. Here's
a story. I don't know if this is off color, but we'll go with this. We got introduced as a power couple. We're not a power couple.
We're not a power couple. We're a power partnership.
Yeah. But what do you think the reaction was when I walked into Chase Bank and I withdrew 900 $1 bills as a single guy? Where do you think?
Yeah, and he brought like a bag to put it in.
Where might you think I was headed? And it was not to church. So that was me. Didn't get mugged, got our $1 bills. But that was one of our touches. We just put $1 in everybody. We sent $1 to everybody in our database, and we alternate things. We, something like, need a buck, take a buck, don't need a buck, give a buck, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that was one of the touches, and people liked it. And the interaction that we got was, why, I can't believe you sent me $1.
Right. Like, oh, I'm rich, $1, right? But like so many people are texting us, calling us, emailing us, like just engaging with us, right? And that's what it's all about, right? That's what stickies are all about, is like extra engagement. And if it's fun to boot, awesome.
Yeah.
And if it makes Kevin look like a dummy, even better. We love it. We love it.
So our lottery ticket is another one that people tend to like. So we sent it, we always send it out for St. Patrick's Day. Molly and Kim, our 2 amazing admin, are in the process of helping us get all those $1,500 lottery tickets stuffed into envelopes. And it just goes along with a little picture of our team and might say something like, we're just lucky to have you in our life.
Yep.
Right. And we get a lot of engagement for that. Our notepad has something cheesy on there. Let us know when you want to get your next pad.
Yeah. When's your next, need help finding a new pad.
Yeah. Those kind of things.
Yeah.
But the stickies, you get a lot of engagement. Right now, they cost a little bit of money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Emily does this in this order, because if you are brand new and you don't have any money to send to it, you can pick up the phone, or you can text, or you can get an Instagram, you can get on Facebook, right? That's kind of step 1, right? Yes, stickies cost a little bit more, and then the third, emails are free. But the point of this is you really, really, really can't hide behind emails.
Right.
It is just a supplement of some branding and some action items and things like that. But it's the stickies, it's the quarterly touches that actually help you convert.
Yeah, because again, we're forcing human interaction. We're trying to make people laugh, or text us back, or call us, or smile, or whatever, right? We're not trying to just get in their email inbox. But we were talking about money for a minute. So you guys, every time we do this, somebody has a question about how much these cost, right? Obviously, we know that a dollar bill costs $1, and a lottery ticket costs $1. But there's also the cost of postage and envelopes and all that stuff. So in and out the door, we want each one of our stickies to cost about $2 max per person. Okay, so if you start to think about your database, if you have 100 people in there, you can start to budget for how much you're going to spend on your stickies every year. Okay.
Yeah. And there is no additional, value by sending, a pair of $8 throwaway sunglasses than 75-cent throwaway sunglasses, right? So don't go over the top with this. It's just a touch that helps, that engages a little bit more than a traditional touch would.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Cool. All right. So here's the last part of the 33 touch. And I'm going to go back and just show you the slide one more time. Okay. So the 33 touch, 4 quarterly touches. We talked about the 5 stickies. And now we've got the low hanging fruit, which is our 24 mass emails. Okay. Now the good news about these mass emails is that they can be done for free, right? So we can do them in command. That's one way to do it. And I'm sure at your market center, you've got plenty of people who will help you with command and how to make this all automated. At Phair-Hinton, Chicago, Milwaukee, we actually use MailChimp. So we pay for a service for lots of different reasons, routing reasons and all kinds of stuff. But there's so many ways that you guys can do this for free or for a small amount of money. Okay. And here's the deal. We send out 2 a month. Okay. So 24 total. One of our emails is something like a call to action, right? Like, do you want to know the value of your home or something along those lines, or come to our Hops and Homes webinar, right? So it's a call to action. It's going to spark a next step.
Here's
right?
the current interest rates, have you refied in the last
refinance
9 to 12 months, that kind of stuff.
Tax appeals. Yep. And then the other email, okay, so 2 weeks later, then we send a branding or like just a basic advertising message, right? So that could be something like, hey, we've expanded to Milwaukee, or look at our latest charity event, something like that. Maybe our listings or a cool view from one of our coolest like high rises downtown, something that's just like Phair-Hinton, Chicago, Milwaukee branded. But here's the deal. The content of your emails doesn't really matter. Okay. So when you send out the email, the whole point is not to spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours trying to like perfect something fabulous, because we can pretty much guarantee that your clients aren't going to read it, or they're going to read it like briefly and then they're going to hit delete. Okay. The whole idea is that your name comes across their screen for 1, 2, 3 seconds and then they delete. That's all you need to do. Okay. Again, these mass emails are not going to move the needle. What's going to move the needle are the quarterly touches, the stickies, and the mass emails. Okay. So if you are somebody who falls into the trap, and we see this all the time, of like perfection over progress, then you're going to struggle with this. Okay. So we're saying progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Just get something out, like edit it, but like if there's a typo, don't stress about it, right? Send something out. If it's not the most fabulous thing you've ever written, don't worry about it. Just keep moving, move forward, keep going. Okay. All right. The fraud complex. All right. So this is very, very different than the Freud complex. Just to be clear, this is the fraud complex. Okay, so here's the deal. When we wake up every morning, we think about our business, we think of 2 things. One, we think about how to make money, right? Like we get up and we're like, I'm gonna go sell a house, I'm gonna do that. Like we think all about how to make money. That's a very easy and natural thing to think. Number 2 is thinking about all the things that are holding us back from making money. Or I shouldn't say making money, because not always, for all of us, it's not about money. For me, it is. For Kevin, it is, right? But for some of us, it's just thinking about all the things that are holding us back from reaching our full potential, whatever that might mean to you guys. So you can create whatever dreams and visions you have. And there are things that are holding us back. And for a lot of us, especially in real estate, and especially if you're a new agent, or just, haven't had a lot of sales recently, there's this idea of the fraud complex, right? Okay, so let's talk about it. It shows up in a couple of ways. On our screen here, we have a doctor and a lawyer and a real estate agent. Okay, so there's the difference between the doctor and the lawyer and the rest of us is that those guys, the doctor and the lawyer, had to go through tons of schooling, right? They go through years and years and years of schooling and education and practice and practicums. They have a ton of experience. They paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. By the time they take their bar and they pass, they are a qualified attorney, right? They are a licensed practitioner, right? They're a qualified physician, right? There's so much lead up so that the day that they get their degree or get their job, they're qualified to perform their job. They just are. That's the whole training. Now, when you're a real estate agent like the rest of us, you take a I took my Wisconsin exam course in a matter of a few days online where I was only half paying attention. Then I went and took the test. Thank goodness I passed. I got my license and I had no idea what I was doing, right? So we don't, as real estate agents, we don't have training leading up to the day that we become a real estate expert. So when we get to that day and somebody says, oh, well, you're a real estate expert, and you're like, gosh, no, I'm not. Well, guess what, guys? It's because you're not. Right? You don't have the training on day one. You don't have the training on day 2 or 3 or 10. It takes a long time, years and years and years. And to be honest, like it kind of never ends. Like Kevin and I, like we still have days. I mean, today's one of them, right? Where we feel like a fraud. Like I'm not an expert at lead generation classes. Like we don't even know if you guys like this. We don't know if we're doing a good job. We have no idea, right? We have no clue because we're truly not experts really at much of anything at all. And we throw that term around like real estate expert, but the truth is we're not really experts, right? There's not a lot of training that goes into it to become the expert that we're told we should be or could be. Okay, the other way that this shows up is that, especially for new agents, but I think this is true, and Kevin gave an example of his friend, but I'll tell you an example of my family. I have been doing this, I'm coming up on year 13, and I have a huge family. So I have 4 brothers, 4 sisters, 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and they're married. So there's 4 siblings. And so there's 8, I have 8 total with the in-laws. They have kids. So I've got nieces and nephews, my parents, I've got cousins. Nobody in my family has ever, I was just thinking about this morning, ever referred me a deal, ever. Okay. Why? Because they don't think of me as a realtor. They just don't. Even though like we are some of the top realtors in Chicago and Milwaukee, they don't think of me like that, right? They think of me like their sister or their daughter or their friend or their whatever, right? So when you go to get your license and the next day you go to your sister and you're like, hey, want to buy a house? I'm a real estate expert. Your sister's like, yeah, no, you're not. Like, I know you. I saw you take the test yesterday. I know that you have no idea what you're doing, right? And so because of course, they think of you how they've always thought of you, okay? And we took a class, it was a while ago now, called No Friend Zone. And it was this whole idea that like, if we go to our friends and we think that they're gonna refer us, they just might not, because they think of you as their friend, and that's okay. If ever you guys have gotten a little bit defeated because your friends aren't referring you at the pace that you think they should, you're right on track. You're right on track, because they just think of you as their friend. And so we've got to let them think of you in whatever way they want to, right? And our job as realtors is to get outside of those relationships, build new relationships, nurture them. And we want to get on the dance floor of the wedding so that we're not just looking at our friends, but we're looking at everybody that they know.
And really what this is basically a Mets and a non-Mets category, right? So if you struggle with this, if you struggle with people like, hey, Kevin, you were a golf pro for 15 years, like you're not a realtor kind of thing.
Right.
And if that holds you back a little bit, that's where you want to focus on non-Mets and turn them into Mets, because the second you take a non-Met and you meet them, you control the narrative. Okay.
Yeah.
All they know you as is a realtor. And
Yep.
all they know you as is somebody that does real estate because they've known you for 3 days, right? So you will absolutely have friends that will refer you and will see that you do a good job. But if you feel like you're banging your head against the wall, that they've thought of me of this different life, because for most people, rarely is real estate their first job, right? Rarely.
Right.
Not many people, graduate from college 22 and they're real estate their entire life, right? Somebody's done something before. So if you struggle with this, you might focus a little bit more on, now market to your people, to your Mets, but you might want to focus more on meeting non-Mets and turning them into Mets.
Yep.
Because it might resonate with you more. And there's lots of different ways to do it.
Yep.
What we know about non-Mets, or if you want to think of them as future Mets, it's more expensive and it takes more time to convert them. Okay. Mm-hmm. We already know the people that we know, but there are lots of ways to grow your database. And so I don't need to go through the list up there, but it's open house leads and it's door knocking, all sorts of things that you can do to grow your Met database. Because remember, all you're trying to do here is you got 2 jobs: grow your Met database and consistently remind them that you're in real estate.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's a solution for people who prefer Mets and people who prefer non-Mets. So Kevin is very much in the Mets camp, right? He is so good at connecting with the people that he already knows. And I have in my business and my life, I have much more of the fraud complex than he does. This guy, I don't know if we always laugh, like, it's like Kevin doesn't worry about failure ever. He just goes for it. And it's like, it's amazing to watch because he has no fear, right? I happen to have a lot of fear, right? And so when I started my business, I spent a lot of time with cold leads, right? I did a lot of circle prospecting, a lot of FSBOs, door knocking expireds, open house leads, things like that, because I had this fraud complex about like, oh, I'm not an expert. So I focused on the future Mets or the non-Mets, the cold leads, and I was able to present myself as the very, very best version of a realtor as I possibly could. And that's how I grew my database, therefore turning them into Mets. So that was great and all. However, as Kev mentioned, the difference between Mets and non-Mets is that it's going to take a lot more time and a lot more money. Okay. So, and on our team, we always say, like, you're absolutely, you have the option to nurture non-Mets or future Mets, but if and only if you've already nurtured your Met database. Okay, so you got to make your sphere calls, you got to do your touches, you got to do all your things. And after, if you still want to grow your business, either, exponentially, or they're not referring you at the rate that you need or you want, then you can go after your cold leads, because it's going to take time and money. That's the difference. But there's a solution. There's a solution for everybody depending on where you fall. Okay, cool. So now we've got our Mets, we got our non-Mets. The whole thing is, what do we do with them, right? So this is a super simple sales cycle. It's not it's not very complicated, but the whole idea is that we're taking, we want to think about lead generation. That's great, but like the whole idea is to sell them houses, right? And make money, right? We're not just doing lead generation for fun. There's a whole purpose here. And so when we think about it, we want to take a person in the world. So whether they're in our Met database or potentially we're creating a Met, right? And then we want to nurture that relationship and set an appointment with them. Okay, so appointment, we're meeting for coffee, we're going to a listing appointment, we're showing them houses, whatever appointment means to you. And then we convert them to a client. So they sign a listing agreement, they say buyer agency, they are, making offers, and then eventually we sell them a house. Okay, cool, great. We sell them a house, a condo, a townhouse, an investment, whatever. And then after they close, we move them right back up to the top, and they're just a Met in our Met database. So the reason we say this is because once you close on a property or once you sell somebody a house, they don't go away. They're with you forever. I always tell my clients, like, okay, you're stuck with me for life, because literally I am going to reach out to them every single quarter for the rest of their life until they tell me not to. But I'm not stopping. So it's just this cycle, right? Because as soon as they buy a house, they are a seller. The second we close, they're a seller. So that's just kind of the whole purpose, right? Is to keep them in your Met database and to continue your lead generation for future sustainability of your growing business. Okay, that's a lot of information. All right, yeah, we're gonna exhale, have some water. All right, you guys, so now we're right at about time, but we're saving it for Q&A. So if you guys, and Lisa, you tell us if you need us to move on. I know you've got somebody from Loan Depot who I just closed a deal with, Loan Depot, recently. They did an awesome job. So you guys should look forward to hearing from them. But if we have time for Q&A, we're happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, no, you guys are good. Go ahead. Let's do a Q&A, and then we'll turn things over to Sally. So thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. What do you guys got?
The one thing that I wanted to add is, and it wasn't on this sheet, is that in normal years, right, we also do 3 to 4 events a year. And this is just one thing that you can do that kind of supplements your lead gen. And the one thing that we've found is anything that is charity based gets a way higher turnout.
Yes.
Way higher turnout. So we participate in the Alzheimer's Walk every year in Chicago at Soldier Field. That's where it starts. We get good participation with that. Instead of doing a generic happy hour, right? What we do is we'll pick a bar and we will do, it'll be like a Toys for Tots drop off where we, hey, come in, get a glass of wine on us, drop off a kid, and then we take them all to donate those to Goodwill. We do open houses when we have a strategic listing that we do. We tie it into a charity a lot of times.
Food pantry.
Food pantry, things like that. We have taken, we'll take bags and we'll take brown bags and we'll put them in the neighborhood and we will put our logo on it and we'll say, hey, we've got an open house at 1835 Berry from 11 to 1 on Saturday. we're collecting for XYZ food pantry. Come by, check a great house, and drop off anything that you want from kids, and we'll get it donated. And especially with COVID, we've had a ton of engagement with that because people have wanted to donate things, but a lot of things are closed and all that stuff. So whatever it is, if you have a charity-based element to your event, if you like to do events, from our experience, you're going to get way more engagement.
Yep. And it's an easier deposit, right? It's easier to call somebody and say, we're collecting donations for this charity. It's so much easier than, would you like to refer us a client, right? We're just adding value. In that case, we're adding value to the community, right? Which in turn adds value to the individual.
So does anybody have any questions about?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So when you were talking, I have two questions. You were talking about the events. So do the events sort of then become your strategy to get more non-met people? And you also use it for a touch. So you're kind of like overlapping those when you're planning out the things you're doing.
Yeah, both. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
To answer your first question, and then I'll let you answer the second. But last year we did a really fun day at the Cubs game where we had people, our Met database had to bring somebody, like they had to invite somebody that we didn't know.
Sure.
But we said,
Yeah.
hey, we want you to come and bring a guest, right? So we invited a lot of singles, right? Because we didn't necessarily know their partner or their friend or whatever, right? So we avoided situations where we invited two people that we already knew. We invited one and said, bring a guest.
Got it.
That was really cool. We were able to great way to meet Mets, right? And they had fun because they got to bring a friend. So that's one.
Right.
And then the second half about, so we actually got this question. I'm going to answer this question in a different way and then I'll let you chime in. Somebody last time we did this asked us about doing birthday messages. And we were actually talking about not treating birthday messages as a systematic touch because we don't, first of all, it's not systematic. If we're supposed to call them in January and their birthday's in March, that's not systematic, right? That's just throwing the whole thing off. So yes, we use events as an opportunity to reach out and call people, but it's not our systematic way of doing it. It's just gravy. It's just more. And actually we think we probably actually touch our people about 50 times a year. 33 of them are systematic. Everything else is just bonus. So social media events and things like that.
Yeah. But,
Sure.
but while we're doing that, if we do a charity drop off at an open house or whatever, they're signing in the same way. We say, hey, we want to shoot you a little thank you. Thanks for coming by, whatever it is. So that is where you get contact information from a
Got it.
And
Okay,
and then it's always tied into also appeasing our sellers, right? So the sellers love it because they think in reality, we do all these things. The best part of this is when you double team these things, you can do so many things that are purely for your own business that are lead generation. And in reality, your sellers think you're doing it to sell their house.
Right.
And it's really not. It's really not. Now, if it happens to, wonderful, you're killing two birds with one stone. But you're keeping, you're growing your business and keeping your listings happy until they sell.
Got it. Thank you. The other question I had real quick is, do you, as a team with all the agents, are you encouraging all your agents to do these things for their clients, or is the team doing it?
Yeah. So first of all, the lead gen's not optional. At the end of every month, they turn in their sheet where they've highlighted off their people where they are in the alphabet. But yeah, we market to everybody's. It's all the collective, right? So all of our agents, all their people, their events, they get the same emails, the same reach out and things like that. And we basically track who comes.
Right.
Allie, you got 3 people to come to the, such and such event, good job kind of thing. But it's one of the values that we add to our team, right? Molly organizes it. Kim organizes it. We pay for it. All you got to do is invite your people.
Yep.
Sure.
But we take care of everything behind the scenes on our agent's behalf. So we send out the invites, we pay for the stickies, we do everything to their database. The only thing that our agents have to do is do their quarterly touches.
So they do the quarterly touches, you guys do the stickies and the mass emails. Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Thank you. And you guys were awesome. I appreciate everything you shared.
Sure.
So helpful.
Really? Anyone else? Nothing?
We covered it all.
Yeah, you guys are all lead gen experts now, huh?
I like it.
I love that.
I like it.
Cool. Well, you guys, our contact information is up on the screen for a reason. We would love to hear from you. Don't be shy. Also, if you guys have your phones out, go to Instagram and follow us. We'll follow you back. We'd love to stay connected. We don't know any other agents in Rochester. We've never been there, but we know that it's a great community and a great market. So we'd be happy to send you referrals or stay connected if there's ever other opportunities. So follow us, like us, connect with us. I mean, it's all about, like, we got to put our money where our mouth is, right? It's all about staying connected. And connected to us means to agents as well as clients. Happy to do it. Cool. Anything else? Nothing?
All right, we'll flip it back over to you and
Cool.
let you guys finish up your meeting.
All right,
Thank you
guys
again. Thanks
have
for
a
your time.
great week.
Thank you.
We're gonna sign off and hopefully we'll stay in touch.
Thanks, Emily and Kevin, so much. That was awesome, awesome information.
Good,
Our
you're
pleasure.
welcome. See you guys. Go sell
Bye.
some houses. Bye.
Alrighty, so great opportunity. You guys heard them say they don't know anybody in Rochester. So great opportunity for you to make that connection and, hopefully add somebody to your referral network. So at this point, we're hoping that we have most of you on still. It looks like we do, about 29 of you. So we're going to flip it over to Sally. Sally, I think you're on. Sally, are you there?
This is Nick. Sally had me chime in for her today.
Alrighty, well, Nick, you just go right ahead. We're ready for you.
All right, can everybody hear me all right?
We can hear you.
Okay. So I was going to start off with the bad news, end with the good news. And it's not really that bad news, but everybody's probably aware interest rates have kind of been on an increase for the last week and a half. So since last Monday, rates have ticked up every single day. So, we were quoting people on a 30-year fix, 2.625 at the beginning of last week, and it's already up to 2.875. So it's already gone up a quarter of a percent, basically. So what we're advising clients right now is not locking and just hoping that the market kind of corrects itself. It's kind of like the stock market. If the stock market has a couple of days of gains, where